Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Adventure Photographer's Playbook. This is kind of where I go over this ebook, which I have printed out in a physical context, and elaborate upon a section to do a total deep dive into what you need to know as you're kind of starting your photography career and or going from like mid to advanced. And essentially what I mean by advanced is like you're actually booking a good amount of jobs, whereas like in the beginning you might just be scrapping by. Today, this section that I'm kind of going for is in chapter 1, but chapter 1 is the foundations. So foundations is essentially what the heck you need to know to run a successful photography business. And what we're going over today is essentially money management. So I'll just read this section really quick. It's a short section. There's quite a few different sections around it, but the money management section is plain and simple and says this. At the end of the day, you're running a business. This means you need to make money, know how to track your money, pay your bills on time, buy new gear. It's less important than you think. Pay your taxes, pay yourself, and stay profitable. Yes, you can hire a bookkeeper, but knowing how to do this yourself is very important because you probably don't have money for a bookkeeper when you're first starting out. So there's a few things in there. One, I'll just start out how do you decide? Do I hire a bookkeeper or do I not? Literally just ask yourself, do you have money to hire a bookkeeper? If you don't even think about it. Easy solution, QuickBooks. There's like QuickBooks self-employed or QuickBooks entrepreneurship or small business, something like that. Do one of those. That literally has everything that you can do, or some similar software. At the end of the day, there's some very important nuggets in this lesson about money management. And I know I just kind of rifle them off, so I would like to dive into them here for you all, because this is key when you're doing a photography business. When you're running your own photography business, this will save you from A, being a total meanie head in the business. B, it'll make you understand how much you really actually need to get paid. And then C is like, you don't ever want to go out of business. In my mind, the whole point of photography, like a photo business, is to stay in business as long as possible, to keep doing this thing that's like rad and you love. And so there's a few things here that are really key. Like money management means you need to know how to make money, know how to track your money, pay your bills on time, buy new gear, pay your taxes, pay yourself, and stay profitable. So the key, I think there in the end, there's a couple ones. Buying new gear, that one you can kind of skip over. Buy gear as you need it. You have to be profitable to be able to buy gear. So I would say the three most important ones are know how to make money, know how to track your money, and know how to stay profitable. So let's just go through all of those three really quick. So the first one, you need to make money. So know how to make money. That means you need clients in the door. To get clients in the door, there's kind of two ways. There's the outbound pitching, and then there's the slow and steady for the inbound. Outbound pitching is exactly what it sounds like. You have an idea for a brand, you pitch them. You're just like, hey, XYZ, I have this ski trip coming up. It's a great opportunity for you guys. Here's why, X, Y, and Z. Then you have, pitching is a lot more. There's a lot more to pitching than that. I brushed over it super fast, and I'm not saying pitching is super easy. Pitching is hard and it's annoying and you have to do it. And it hurts the soul because a lot of times nobody ever responds. But that is literally, that's you trying to be like, hey, buy my shit. And honestly, who likes getting those messages? For the most part, nobody, right? Like, it's just advertising. And sometimes it hurts the brain when you receive those emails. And so the key to pitching is to essentially not piss people off. And so the other one is playing the long game. And essentially what that playing the long game is, you kind of create a list of potential clients, past clients, and then just like warm clients. And you just kind of send them a message at least once a month so that you stay top of mind, so that they can kind of hire you when they're ready. Because honestly, a client might be doing, in the adventure space, a client is probably doing, you have like the Garmins of the world, they're probably doing 1 to 2 shoots a month, maybe even more than that. Then you have the North Faces, they might be doing 1 a month, I would get, yeah. And then you have like, I think it's smaller and smaller. And then you go all the way down to like brands that are maybe doing 1 a year, or maybe even like 1 every new product. So sometimes that could be a while. So you kind of have to understand that cadence and just be there, be ready for when those opportunities come. So that was kind of like, know how to make money. You have outbound, inbound, it's all in marketing, which this ebook covers in later chapters. So just know that in the back of your head. Like if you're like, I want to learn more, it's in this ebook. It's down below. It's $10 if you're interested. If you're not interested, keep watching these videos. I put out new videos every single week to help you become a better photographer. So now back on to number 2, know how to track your money. Essentially, a lot of creatives that get into this business don't realize that it's a business, which really shoots themselves in the foot. Like literally take a basics class or watch a few YouTube videos or something on profit and loss. Just understand you have to make more money than you spend. It's literally that simple, but there's strategies of like, just ways of tracking it. So like I said earlier, if you have like QuickBooks or something like that, do that, because that helps you track those things. If not, you're gonna have to create a spreadsheet, and then you kind of have to go back and forth. And just, it's kind of, honestly, it's way easier to have a software to help you out. The softwares are like $30 a month, whereas maybe up to 50, I don't know. But I would say that's like way better than trying to create your own. I've tried a few of those, like through Notion and through Apple and through Microsoft products, and to be honest, I haven't enjoyed those. So you have to learn how to track and budget, and that really starts with like what goes into creating a shoot. And so that's depends on if you're hired for like a day rate, or if you're hired kind of more as like a producer or solo agency, things of that sort. Which is, there's a lot there to unpack, to be honest. But for the time being right now, it's literally just, you have your profit, or sorry, you have your revenue and you have your expenses, and it needs to be profitable. And then the last thing is stay profitable. That's the key to staying in business. So on every shoot, you have to understand how much it's going to cost you to create the thing and how much you're gonna make. So a brand might come to you with this epic idea of like, we're gonna go shoot a ski film in Antarctica. And you're like, yes, this is epic. And then they're like, we have $1,200. You're like, okay, well, we can't even afford a plane ticket to Ushuaia to then get on a ship to go across the Drake Passage to get to Antarctica. Like, it's just not possible. And so you kind of have to like start looking at that of like, okay, well, what does it take to still be profitable? What does it not take? You know, a project like that's probably going to be 50 to 100,000 to go ski in Ushuaia. And that's just because it's logistically very cost inefficient, or just it's expensive. But if you're like, if a brand comes to you like, hey, we need you to shoot a new sunscreen while you're rock climbing in your backyard. And I only say rock climbing in your backyard because I live in Lake Tahoe, so there's literally world-class climbing in my backyard. And so then it would be like, okay, yeah, and they're like, we have $1,200, and you're like, and you know, whether $1,200 works for you or it doesn't, you would have to make the decision. But $1,200 for like a backyard shoot is most likely possible depending on your setup. So like what I mean by that is like, who's providing the talent? Do you have to pull permits? Is it, you know, how much editing is needed afterwards? What do you produce? Like how much production time do you need in the beginning? Do you need to rent any camera gear? Do you need to do any of these things? You know, so it's like, depends on the scope of the project that they're asking you for. But for the most part, if they're like, hey, all you have to do is show up with a camera and we have $1,200 for you and have everything else set aside, for the most part, and it's in your backyard, like it's pretty easy. That's why like people like that are based in LA, like productions in LA look for photographers in LA, because they're like, literally just show up, we'll pay you a day rate and you can go home. So you just have to understand what makes you profitable and what doesn't. And so that's essentially what I mean by money management. And so I'll read this once again, but the whole key is to understand and grasp the concept that you are running a business and you are the one that's in charge of the money management. And so at the end of the day, you're running a business. That means you need to make money, know how to track your money, pay your bills on time. That's huge. Don't do late fees. That'll kill you. Buy new gear. It is less important than you think. I do think that there will be a big leap in gear coming up. Feels like kind of like gear is kind of stagnated for the last three or 4 years. So I think there's going to be another big jump here soon. But that's my personal prediction. Take it, leave it. Maybe in the comments, let me know. Is gear going to jump in quality soon? We'll find out. Pay your taxes. If you have your own business, you're in America, roughly 35%. So every shoot, you have to imagine you're going to lose 35%, because that's what taxes are, roughly. You have to pay yourself, aka you got to be able to pay your mortgage, pay all those things, and pay your taxes. So it's, yeah. So you got to know that, and then stay profitable, which means don't charge credit cards to go create this personal project that is going to make you no money. I do that, I'll be honest. I'm guilty of that sometimes. But I can honestly say that I haven't had a personal project lose money in a 5-year time span. So it depends on how far out you're looking. But yeah, stay profitable, stay in business, keep doing photography, keep loving what you're doing. And if you're so kind and you're looking for more photo advice on how to run a business, the Adventure Photographer's Playbook right here, $10 in the link description down below. It's a practical guide to go from nothing to booked. To be honest, my 10 years of an adventure photographer of advice is in here. So yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. Watch the next one. It should be here or in both spots. Have a good one.